Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Imagine your monitoring system sends an alert saying low memory available in your system, and you just check your overall dashboard and the overall system stats, and you notice that the system is still running and nothing has crashed yet, and there has been no sign about any user errors until now. In this scenario, if memory is keep on dropping, something else will happen, or system also can trigger a OOM kill for the processes which is consuming the highest memory. So before restarting anything, we need to figure out what is consuming the memory. And in this video, I will walk you through how engineers investigate a low memory alert in production and how to systematically narrow down the root cause without or before restarting any service. So without any further delay, let's jump into the topic. Before jumping into command, we need to understand how exactly the memory incident usually develop. In most of the cases, system does not immediately run out of memory, but it is a gradual process which happens over a period of a time. So for example, if you see the graph, this is when exactly your memory gets start spiking up and it keeps on increasing until it reaches to the dangerous spot, which we call it as OM. So at the medial level, this is when your alerting system is being defined to send you an alert or give you a warning that your system is getting into the pressure. So this is when you normally start investigating, and before it reaches to this level, you need to drill down to the problem and you need to resolve that particular problem before it reaches. Next question we need to answer is how exactly engineers investigate the memory problems. Does they directly get into the system or restart the specific service, or exactly they follow a step-by-step process to drill down to the actual problem? Normally we call it as layered approach. Each layer has a unique way of troubleshooting. What are these? It normally follows a 4-layered approach: 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first layer is to understand the system behavior, where we verify whether the system is really under memory pressure or it is just a false alarm. That is the first approach. Second approach is we try to find out what is the exact process which is consuming the highest memory and what is the process ID. Finally, we try to see very close how exactly the runtime is utilizing the memory. The runtime can be your application environment, it can be Java, it can be Python, or it can be Go. Any runtime, how exactly it is utilizing memory, we need to figure out. And finally, we need to drill down into the code level to see if it is really expected for this memory increase, or it is just a random memory leak which has to be addressed at the further steps. So this is the 4th step which we follow, and by following this, the incident can be mitigated, and we can also stop the future occurrences in a worst case scenario. So let's see it in a demo how exactly we troubleshoot by following this 4 layered approach. Now we are in a system where we have exactly received a low memory available alert, and we assume that this server is currently under memory pressure. So before assuming anything, we need to sure about if it is really under pressure and what exactly it is consuming, or what is the real cause of this particular problem. So doing that, we normally follow the 4-step method which we just discussed. First, it starts with understanding from the system level, followed by we get into the process level, then we get into the runtime level, and finally we try to drill down the problem at the code level itself. So to confirm at the system level, we use some command known as watch, where we monitor the usage every second and how exactly it is behaving. So this command, what it tells you, it will tell you the exact memory usage every second, and here you can assume or see that the available memory is slowly decreasing. You can see the free size is slowly decreasing, and eventually your available memory is also decreasing. Now you can assume that your system is under memory pressure, and you need to understand which is causing it. Now this step is completed. Now we get into the process level. So to understand from the process level, first we try to find out who is exactly the culprit. We can use the ps aux command, followed by sorting it out based on memory, and see the top 10 lines out of it. What it will show you is, it will show you which are the processes who are consuming the highest memory in ascending manner. Here you can see this particular PID is consuming the highest memory, which is around 11.2%, and it is a Java process, and you can understand. So this is the actual culprit which is consuming the highest memory. We just now copy the PID and we jump into the next process. Now we need to monitor the process in real time. How we do? We can again use top command to monitor it. And here what we can see is we can monitor the process in real time, and we can see the memory is keep on increasing same. And if it is reached 100% or not, you can consume that, or you can verify that from this command as well. So once you verify it, now you have to get into the runtime level. So getting into the runtime level, we perform some of the Java runtime commands, where first we try to check the GC status. So this command shows you the actual JVM heap, how it is behaving, and how often your garbage collection is running. So here we don't care about everything. We only care about two columns. One is your EU and second one is your OU. EU stands for your Eden used, and OU stands for your old generation used. And if we see these two columns, we can see this two columns only is keep on increasing. So if this two column is increasing during your incident time, you can assume that your garbage collector is running and clearing some memory, but the total heap usage is keep on increasing. And that usually means that your objects are surviving the GC and moving to the old generation. And you can assume that the memory growth is happening inside the JVM heap size only. So now, if we verify that, we need to get into the overall heap info, what exactly the heap size and how much is being used and how much is available. To do that, again, I can use one more Java runtime command, which is jcmd followed by the PID, and we provide the gc.heap info. You can provide other infos as well if you feel so, but most of the time the gc heap info gives you the overall usage for this GC. And here what you can see is that the total heap size or allocated heap size is around 630 MB, and out of it almost 620 MB is already used. So in this you can, like, assume that almost all of it is currently used, and this is the actual cause of your memory growth, which we have just noticed in the process level and the system level. Now, if we verify it, we need to get into the code level now, which is the final step of our troubleshooting. To get into that, we can again use a Java command, which is jmap, and followed by histo, followed by the PID, and we can see the top contributors. And here, if we see this particular line, which is B, that means it's named as your byte arrays. And as a demo, most of the memory is consumed by the byte arrays, which I have let it to consume. And it can be different, or it can tell you which functions is exactly causing the memory usage, and other functionalities or other algorithms of your particular code. And you can confirm that memory growth is coming from this object allocation inside your applications. So this is a completely drill down to the memory usage problem, and you can drill down to this problem in other runtimes as well. You can use Python. So Python has something called as trace malloc, which you can use for understanding your overall memory usage within the runtime, or or you can use Go. There is again called as pprof, which Go provides for built-in profiling tools, which shows which functions are allocating the highest memory. And for other runtimes also, there are multiple options which are available. So these tools you can use. It is not something which I am carving out or imposing you. Every applications behave differently, and you can choose your own troubleshooting method. But always remember, it has to go in this step-by-step approach, where we start from the system, then we get into process, then we get into runtime, and finally we debug at the code level to understand where exactly the problem is occurring and what exactly is the root cause. That is the ideal troubleshooting scenario which we try to impose, or we try to understand during your incident. What exactly the fix we should apply for this problem, right? So there can be two types of fixes. One is your short-term fix and one is your long-term fix. For your short-term fix, you can increase your memory limits, or you can scale the service horizontally. You can add more memory to your overall resource utilization, or you can reduce your workload temporarily so that your incident is mitigated. That can be short term. For the long term, what you can do is you can fix the memory leak if it is happening in your application level. You can implement bounding caches. What exactly it is, again, we don't get into it because it is most of the time is the engineering team who helps us achieve it. Or if you can do it as well. Finally, we try to do improve the garbage collection in our application, and we also can do optimize the memory allocation within our application. So these are the few things which we can do for a short term and long term solution, and we can solve the memory leak problem or low memory problem if it is happening continuously within your system. So with this use case, we can assume that low memory available alerts are very common in production systems, and the effective debugging is not about immediately restarting your service, but rather approaching a step-by-step procedure where we start with investigating at the system level and we go up to the code level. In between, we try to understand the overall runtime behavior as well as the process allocation with regards to memory. The effective troubleshooting is just not about restarting the services, but understanding the system and application, how exactly it is behaving in the production environment. So with that, we end today's video. If you have liked it, then please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts in the comment box, and tell us about what topics you want us to cover in our next episodes. So with that, we end this video. Thanks for watching. See you next video.